going pretty good. Just, hold on 1 second. There we go. Just wanted to mute it so it didn't pick up over. Just one issue after another. Computer didn't work all of a sudden, so okay, had to switch that. Then can't find the camera, so had to do the old one. So it's just, oh, nope, I'm still getting picked up.
I'll leave you alone.
Somebody said to Jeff, they're like, oh, his tray wasn't there. It looks like Jeff's leaving some of the baseball. That would be me.
Just about. It's almost, yeah.
good seeing you. You're very disciplined.
We didn't say, listen, tonight, when we get done here,
Are you really a year? I won't say it. Last year, he told me she was a certain age. So I sent her a certain one. She was. I just tried to
anyway, so I'm saying, when you get done here tonight,
I suppose I have another project.
yeah.
How many months do I have to catch up?
Well, would you have time to balance out my check?
I love doing it. I still do my first.
I'm kidding you. I can't help it every time I see it. And I know that's a joke from 25, 30 years, 30, probably even longer than that.
I love it. If you didn't say that to me,
I know. That's how I think of it, you know. If Lenora was good enough to, we talked about it all. We talked about it.
I love doing that with her.
He was an old spinster, you know, and we talked about all this.
You're going to sit here in a minute. So I'm
Oh, hey, we'll have to go sit down.
He's 30. Come on, yeah.
Yeah, you're She had to pick up another instrument. now they're going to lead us in the school song, Loyal and True. Well, welcome to the former Alumni Banquet and now a community-wide event. Before we get too far into the program, my name is Jeff Hinman. I used to work here and I went to school here, class of '82. Yeah, I jumped on my classmates are here. It's great. It's awesome. But how about our student performers? How about a round of applause for our band and choral students tonight? We had some high school students, you might have seen them if you walked around. We told the high school kids, look, you don't have to give a tour because the whole building looks different to these people. Nothing is where it used to be. And so maybe just be available for questions of anybody. So anyway, hopefully you got a chance to walk around the building. I still believe that one of the charms of our school are the pictures. They're on the wall. We're trying to get all of the classes updated as much as we can. There's still a few gaps. If you notice that your class isn't up there, let us know and we'll do everything we can to try to correct that. But most of them are up there, and every once in a while, even when I worked here, I just caught myself wandering through the halls and kind of get caught up in some of the older pictures and older classmates that are up there. So anyway, thank you. We're changing this event a little bit. I don't know, for those of you that have been around before for the alumni dinners, the Alumni Association held a formal dinner every 3 years. And then in March of 2020, there was this event that I don't even want to mention anymore that occurred, and the 2021 event had to be postponed, and then there just hasn't been one since. And along with that, there have been discussions with the Alumni Association about declining and waning attendance, and we just felt like maybe a formal dinner wasn't the way to go, and tried this open house event where we're going to celebrate the past and the present and this unique connection that Tremont has with our school and our community. If we didn't have a good school, we wouldn't have much of a community. And if we didn't have an outstanding community, we wouldn't have much of a school. We're very blessed in Tremont, and I am just so thankful that all of you are here tonight. This is a great place to go to school. It's a great place to raise your families, and here we are, celebrating that tonight. So welcome, and thank you so much for coming out. The group, the Alumni Association, is always looking for both suggestions and new members. Hint, hint, hint. I'll introduce the committee to you a bit later so you can seek them out tonight or down the road with any of your thoughts that you might have. You may have noticed that donations are being accepted. There's always some costs associated with these events, and there are some baskets. And anymore, there's this thing called Venmo. My wife will not let me use it. But we have it. I know. I don't know how to use it for sure. I can check with my kids. But anyway, if you would prefer, there's even, I think, is there some electronic? Anyway, the information's in the back if you'd like to donate. Thank you. Tonight's theme, as I mentioned, celebrating this amazing connection between our local schools and the community at large. This is a wonderful place, as I mentioned, and I saw it firsthand as a student, and then as a teacher and a coach and an administrator, and so here we are tonight celebrating that. With that, enough from me. We're going to begin our alumni recognitions. Before we get into some other things, we got some little audience participation activities here in a little bit. We're going to start right into our alumni recognitions. We're going to start Jim Lonergan, a 1979. Jim is a contemporary. You know, there's some kids here tonight that were students of mine, but Jim is a contemporary. Class of 1979. He joined the Tremont Fire Department a few years after high school. Having grown up in Tremont and forged in a community that puts a high value on service, he jumped right in and quickly showed his commitment to Tremont and the Tremont Fire Department. He was always eager to share the knowledge that he learned not only in-house, but seeking additional training outside the department. Jim helped to shape the training program that is still used today for new firefighters. His willingness to drop everything and lend a hand helped him move through the ranks from firefighter to captain to assistant chief and finally chief of the department. Whether running emergency calls, giving tours for the grade school students, or teaching fire safety, he has been steadfastly present in the community. Jim's commitment to serve and lead has profoundly impacted the lives of many Tremont firefighters. Chief Lonergan retired in 2025 after serving our community for 39 years. Jim once said, "To be there for your neighbor and help them in their darkest hour is our goal and why we're here, not just as firefighters, but as people." Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Jim Lonergan.
Since that, it's like, when did I turn 39? Wait a second. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, the old adage is, how time flies when you're having fun. And it certainly has flown. Almost as fast as 40 years of marriage. Now, I'm pleased to see my fellow firefighters out there. That's my crew. Love you all. And there's many people out here that I really have a deep affection for. I think what Jeff was trying to express earlier is the word we use in the fire department is camaraderie between the school, the community, and every organization in this town. We have great camaraderie, and that's really what makes things tick. Thank you all.
We're going to first be people ever to say put these on. A few minutes ago, we heard that old familiar song, Loyal and True. There are very few people who have proved to be more loyal and true to Tremont schools than Jeff Hinman. Jeff graduated from Tremont High School in 1982. Upon completion of college at Illinois State University and a one-year stint at Foreman High School in Manitou, he came back to his hometown teaching history and coaching multiple sports. After 7 years as a teacher and completing his administrative degree, he assumed the Tremont Junior High principalship in 1995. Jeff's 25 years as a Tremont administrator included stints as middle school principal, middle school and high school principal, and superintendent. He never tired of talking about the great things happening in District 702 and served on the Central Illinois Valley Region Principals Board from 1997 to 2012. He was named the area's secondary principal of the year in 2010. In 2006, during his principalship, THS was named the National Blue Ribbon School awarded in Washington, D.C. In 2020, Jeff received his first Heart of Illinois Conference Academic Legacy Award for the Academic Athletic Conference he helped establish in 2005. Mr. Hinman served District 702 for 34 years in multiple capacities, concluding his tenure as District Superintendent on June 30th, 2020. Post-retirement, he continues to serve as the Winning Communities Board member, Village Trustee, Turkey Festival volunteer, and member of the local Lions Club. He cites the community as a dynamic place to raise a family and credits his wife Jennifer and children Taylor and Trey for their support during his time serving the school system. After his educational career ended, Jeff continued to find great joy in activities of former students and relationships formed with them during his career. It's my pleasure to award Jeff Hinman with this Distinguished Service Award. Jeff.
Thank you. To hear from me some more. This place has always been special to me. To be able to come back to your hometown and teach and become an administrator is unique. It was so unique, my mom was my secretary for a few years. only in a small town, right? And I've always considered it a privilege to come back here and work with the best students, families, teachers, and support staff anywhere, bar none. Thank you to the Alumni Committee, my friends Jim and Chris Workman, who I have this sneaking suspicion turned in a nomination form. I really enjoyed working with Jim Workman. That was a joy. I mean, all the teachers, but Jim and I really worked as close as anybody while we were trying to manage this high school and the middle school, and it was fun. It was so much fun. My wife, Jennifer, and kids, Taylor and Trey, who often had to share time with everyone else over the years because of so many school events. This is a really humbling honor because I enjoyed coming here just about every day. It rarely felt like work. But it did occasionally, but rarely did it. To see former students today with their families or their careers or their service, many here tonight, it's just fun. Too many people, there's too many people to thank specifically, but the support I've received here as a student, a coach, a teacher, and administrator is treasured. I've been deeply blessed by my time here, and thank all of you for this incredible honor. Thank you. All right, I'm glad that's over. I appreciate it. I'm glad it's over. Tom Gibson, another contemporary, class of 1983, Tremont High School. So good. I mean, Jim and Tom, I mean, I just feel like we're right there, you know. And then we got these young kids coming here after bed. But Tom is a Tremont High School graduate from the class of 19. I know he's here. I thought I saw him. I'm looking for. There he is. All right, good. Make sure he you know, Tom doesn't like to speak. I can't wait for his speech. I mean, we were talking about this, and I just want to make sure he didn't bug out on us. Tom, 1983, Tremont High School. He followed the path created by his grandfather Glenn, Uncle Bob, and Father Don by running the family business. Tremont Oil has always been operated by the principle that if you provide a quality product and quality service, the community will support you. Tremont Oil has had tremendous support for over 100 years, which validates the quality of the product and service they have provided to the community. Tom has strived to serve with integrity, kindness, and smile. And they still pump your gas, clean your windshield, and check fluids if necessary. That business is a real gem for our community. Tom is a true champion of Tremont. He and Tremont Oil are supportive of so many community activities. He serves as treasurer on the Winning Communities Board and has been an instrumental part of that civic group for a number of years. It's a pleasure to welcome and recognize Mr. Tom Gibson. Tom.
Jeff kind of stole my speech. I was going to tell you I don't like to talk, so I'm just going to say thank you. I'm very humbled by this, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't know, I went up to Tremont Oil the other day to get my oil changed, and I had my cups, my keychain, and Tom said to me, he says he doesn't like to talk, but he said, don't ever bring that keychain. He did not say that. He did not say that. Everybody's looking like, did he really say that? Where am I at? Okay. We want to find out who's here tonight. And we're not going to ask you to state your name or anything. We're going to do it by, because this is the alumni banquet. So we wanted to welcome everybody today because so many parents and community members have a stake in the schools, friends of the schools, even if they didn't graduate here. And so we wanted to open this up to everybody, but we still would like to find out what former students and teachers are here. So let's start. And if you can, if you're able, please stand and accept our thanks when I call your group out. We already talked, or I talked a little bit about the outstanding faculty and teachers that we had growing up, and then that I had the opportunity to work with later in my career. If you are a former teacher of any grade level in the District 702 system, we would like to show you respect and thanks for the work that you've done with our kids in this community. So if you would stand up for me right now, let's hear it for our former teachers. I saw it on Facebook, but Mr. Wanek had a big, important birthday yesterday. So make sure when you see Mr. Wanek, wish him a happy birthday.
Go ahead, tell them how much.
80. 80, but here's the deal. That guy doesn't look a day over 50. I don't know. It must be all the years that you're around these kids around here. So happy birthday, Mr. Wanek, and thank you to all of our faculty members, teachers, administrators that were here tonight. We really appreciate your attendance. All right, if you're an alum from 2000 to 2025, I'll give you a 25-year window. Alums from 2000 to, I know two that are here tonight. I hope they're not the only two that have to stand, but we're going to find out here in a little bit. 2000 to 2025. I guess that's a 25-year window. Yeah, so it's good to see you all These guys are like, oh, this is like a nightmare. I have to hear from him again. He used to yell at us in the cafeteria. Now he's still talking. All right. If you graduated in the 1990s, stand and be recognized, please. Okay, here's my group, 1980s from Tremont High School. I feel like those are my people. 1970s, where you at? How about the 1960s? The 1950s. That is great. Welcome. Thank you for coming out. Anybody 1940s? I know there's one here. The 1940s. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marilyn Hunsicker Temper. 1930s. Thank you. It was great. We really appreciate everyone coming out. All right. We're going to go into our athletic awards. You might remember athletic based on primarily the performances in high school. We asked that most of those recognized be out at least 10 years is sort of the guideline that we've used, and then we've accepted nominations over the years. And we have 3 outstanding representatives, not only in athletics, but outstanding representatives in Tremont High School and later on too. They're just really good people. Drew Garrick is a 2003 graduate of Tremont High School and was an impact player in football, basketball, and baseball for 4 years. He was named All-Conference First Team in all 3 sports, First Team All-State in baseball, plus 2003 Peoria Journal-Star Player of the Year in baseball. He was a receiver in football until his senior year when he stepped up for an injured quarterback and led the team to state quarterfinals, record of 11-1. He holds a single-season record for 15 passing touchdowns and 1,299 passing yards. In basketball as a point guard, he and his fun-to-watch team advanced to the Sweet 16, 25-7. Amazing run. In 2003, he advanced to the finals of the King of the Hill three-point competition at the Peoria Civic Center. In baseball, he was an outstanding shortstop and an elite pitcher, leading the team to a sectional championship game, 26-8. His senior season, he posted a pitching record of 11 wins and 2 losses with 165 strikeouts and a batting average against him of his batting average of 480, 8 home runs, 12 doubles, and 54 RBIs. After high school, he went on to play baseball, pitching 2 years at Illinois Central College and 2 years at Eastern Illinois University, which is a D1 program. At ICC, he was named first-team pitcher of the NJCAA Region 24 tournament in 2004 and has records of second all-time season wins with 7, third all-time career wins with 11, and 5th all-time career strikeouts with 108. In 2004, Drew joined USA Athletes International and pitched against the Spanish national team in Barcelona, Spain, at the stadium for the 1992 Olympic Games. Drew returned to the area and began his career at Caterpillar as an accountant after graduation from Eastern. He continues his service to the school, serving on the Board of Education, and continues his service to the community, having served in the rotation that culminated as chairman of the Tremont Turkey Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to present Mr. Drew Garrick.
I'm really excited to be up here. So, all right. Well, thanks to the Alumni Association. Thanks, Mr. Henderson. This is a fantastic event. Very proud to have worn the Turks uniform. A lot of memories from the 2002-2003 school year. We had a lot of fantastic teams, and I do mean teams. So, I think you rattled off several of them, but I think football being ranked number 2 in state, going to the quarterfinals, we were 11-1, and then basketball, I think we ended with the agony of defeat, but we did win a sectional, went to Illinois State University, got to play at Redbird Arena, which was a great experience. We did lose by 1 point, we won't talk any further about that. And then baseball. We won a regional, beat Brimfield. They were 30-1 that year, so we had a very tough matchup in the regional championship, but we were able to advance. I think the most important thing is that was a very special group of teammates and coaches, lifelong friends, a lot of multi-sport athletes too in that class where, you know, if football wasn't my top sport, we still played that for each other, and we did that in football, basketball, and baseball, which was very critical, being a small school. We needed all of those athletes to play, so yeah, it's just great. Now, I guess, I'm very proud. We live in the Tremont School District. Now I get to watch my kids wear the Turk uniform. My oldest is a freshman, so got to watch a little volleyball earlier today. So yeah, I just want to say thanks again, and go Turks.
Sam Springer Chicoyan, a 2005 graduate of Tremont High School. She is Tremont's first female state champion, winning the discus throw in 2005 and also placing 4th in the shot put that year. She qualified for the state track and field competition every year from 6th grade through her senior year. She holds the school records in discus at 146.10 and the shot put at 43.4. As a Peoria Journal-Star Honor Roll champ in 2005, she broke the discus and shot put records. Her discus record still stands. She was also a 4-time conference champ in discus and shot put, breaking both records. Receiving a scholarship to Illinois State University, Sam competed as a Division I athlete in weight throw, hammer throw, shot put, and discus. In 2007 and 2008, she competed at D1 regionals in discus and hammer. In 2009, she competed in discus, hammer, and shot put. She was a 3-time all-conference competitor in the Missouri Valley Conference and the conference discus champ in 2009 with a throw of 172.4. As a 2009 Division I national qualifier in discus, she placed 16th. Sam is married with 2 daughters, Mackenzie and Lolo, if I pronounced that correctly, and remains very active in track and field, following her husband to UCF, Baylor University, and the University of Tennessee. She has been a college volunteer coach, high school coach, and offers private lessons in the throws. In 2024, she traveled to the Paris Olympics with her husband, Coach Jeff Chicoyan, to watch one of his athletes compete. We're very honored to recognize Sam Springer Chicoyan. Sam?
All right. They said I could say something when I compared, and I was like, what am I going to say? But I just think it's kind of funny when I think about it that when I was in 6th grade, I picked up this really heavy ball and this really heavy frisbee, and it completely is my whole life now. So it's still an everyday thing for me. I still go to practices all the time, but now I've gained a lot of kids, and I claim them as my sons and daughters, and they're from all over the world. And it's really fun, and it never would have started unless I was here. Thank you.
Amelia Glick graduated the class of 2014. She was a 4-year basketball participant and 4 years in track. Amelia Glick Marino. Make sure you get that right. Patrick's here, and Patrick's a great guy, but I don't want to make him mad. He's a big guy. During her time at Tremont High School, Amelia maintained a 4.0 grade point average while participating on the basketball team, track team, and various other student organizations. One of Amelia's greatest passions was the sport of track and field. Over the course of her high school career, Amelia earned 13 all-state honors in the long jump, short sprints, and relays. This includes an amazing 5 state titles in the long jump, 2012 through 2014, and the 100-meter dash, 2013 through 2014. Amelia's efforts also helped Tremont's track and field team capture a 2nd-place finish at the state championship in 2014. The following summer, Amelia was named the Peoria Journal-Star Athlete of the Year for her performance on the track and in the classroom. She later went on to compete at Illinois Wesleyan University, where she was a 2-time national champion, 9-time All-American, and a finalist for the NCAA Woman of the Year Award. Currently, Amelia is the head women's track and field coach at Illinois Wesleyan. And, an interesting tidbit, Mrs. Matson, her 2nd grade teacher who's here tonight, said she was the fastest kid in 2nd grade. Probably one of the fastest all time if they kept records. And looking around the room, I'll bet she's the fastest one in the room tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Amelia Glick Marino.
Confidently say I am not the fastest one in this room anymore, but I appreciate the thought. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to everyone for coming out here tonight, and congratulations to all the individuals who've been brought up on the stage before me and after me as well. I am incredibly grateful to be receiving this award tonight, because even though Tremont is a small town and we're a small school district, some incredibly talented athletes have walked these hallways, and I'm honored to be considered among them. I look back fondly on my years at Tremont High School, and I'm grateful for the places, for the people, and for the experiences that I've had along the way, because they've helped shape me both personally and professionally. My time as an athlete here really, truly fostered a love for track and field. I mean, I love it so much now. It's my full-time job. It's what I do. And I have to give a shout out and a thank you now to my husband, because he puts up with the long work hours that come with being a collegiate track and field coach. And for any of you who have been to a track meet, especially a college one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, none of my success would have been possible without the teachers, the coaches, the classmates, and my friends who believed in me every step of the way. And for those of you who are in this room tonight, and for those unable to attend, I want to say thank you. One of the biggest thank yous, though, has to go to my parents, who are in the front row here tonight. Put them outside of their comfort level here. But they've been my #1 fan since day one. Whether it was shoveling snow off the long jump runway before the first meet of the year, because yes, we are crazy enough that we got out there in the snow, or traveling across the nation for college competitions, they have always been willing to go the extra mile for me. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for all that you do and continue to do for me. Of course, most importantly, I want to thank God for the opportunities and the people that He's put in my path. So thank you again for this incredible honor, and thank you to all of the people here who have made this place so special.
We're now moving on to our distinguished alum for 2025. Tyler Thompson graduated from Tremont High School in 2005, and he began his filmmaking career while still a student at THS. Very good, unbelievable productions while I was still a student here at THS. Making short films for class projects and longer features with family and friends for his church. After graduating from Moody Bible Institute with a degree in biblical languages, Tyler went to work as a video editor for the director Dallas Jenkins. He began co-writing scripts with Jenkins, and the two soon created a short film called The Two Thieves, which won Best Original Screenplay at the Madrid International Film Festival. Thompson and Jenkins co-wrote a short film called The Shepherd, which would go on to become the pilot episode of the groundbreaking series The Chosen, for which he serves as co-writer and executive producer on all episodes and seasons. And an absolutely amazing production. If you haven't seen it, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's well done. Unbelievable. But he'll talk more about that. But there's a couple of people on the committee that could talk forever about The Chosen, but we'll let our keynote speaker talk about that. So I'm just going to stop. As of 2025, The Chosen has been viewed by over 280 million people. Let that set in. Tyler Thompson from tiny Tremont, home of the Turks, Central Illinois, overshadowed by Chicago and St. Louis and Peoria, has been viewed by over 280 million people in an amazing 175 countries, and has been translated in over 50 languages, with a theatrical box office of 140 million. He also wrote the 10 monologues performed in The Chosen's 3 Christmas specials. He is an executive producer on the limited series Joseph of Egypt from Amazon MGM Studios, and is developing several projects for 5 and 2 Studios. He lives in the historic Laurel Canyon neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Before Tyler comes up, let's just watch what they call in the business a sizzle reel of his work. I only know that because he told me. Let's watch this sizzle reel from The Chosen.
Chronicling the ministry of Jesus and his apostles, it's called The Chosen.
It is the #1 biggest crowdfunded project of all time.
One of the top-rated and most talked-about shows on television right now.
What they've done for the series The Chosen is a remarkable, even divine undertaking.
They have first 3 seasons had more than 600 million views. Clearly, you're reaching people.
It's getting rave reviews, and it's already been translated into 50 languages and counting.
We've always heard that movies about Christian values and about traditional American values and about Jesus, they don't work. The incredible success story defies Hollywood orthodoxy about American cultures.
There's at least one character that anybody who watches the show will be able to identify with.
Are you going to go on one of these crazy shows where you do contests where you try to accomplish the impossible? Because that feels like this.
The whole thing has been crazy from the beginning, so we thought, why not keep going with the crazy?
Thank you, Mr. Hinman. I don't think I can really call him Jeff yet, but I haven't gotten there. A huge thank you, of course, to the Alumni Association and to all of my fellow honorees, well deserved. Special shout out to Sam Springer, class of 05. That's great. I'm going to take one drink of water before I get started here. So back in January of this year, 2025, I was finishing up a writing retreat with the other two writers of The Chosen, Dallas Jenkins and Ryan Swanson. And we had been together for a few days, just finishing up tightening the scripts for season 6 of The Chosen, which we finished filming this summer. But back in January, we were still trying to get it right. We had to accommodate for some production budget issues. That's like the least glamorous part of writing. You finish the script, you turn it in, you're so proud of it, and then production comes back and they say, well, this is $5 million over budget, we need to cut 40 pages, and so then it's a process of deciding, well, what can we get rid of, and it's challenging and unglamorous, but we had done it. We had gotten the scripts down to the size that they needed to be, and the budget, something that could be approved, and so we were packing up our laptops and our notebooks and pens and our foam rollers. Actually, we like to roll out during these long, like, marathon writing sessions just to keep our circulation going. We say, keep the blood flowing, keep the ideas flowing. But we were feeling pretty good about ourselves and grateful for the work that had gotten done. And for some reason, it put Dallas in a kind of reflective mood, or headspace. And so in a somewhat rare moment of earnestness, he turned to me and he said, man, Tyler, someday, when we get to heaven, I want to find out how a farm kid from a cornfield in central Illinois came to write all this kind of stuff, that came to have these ideas. And he seemed to be implying that there was no earthly explanation for how I got from here to the world stage. He seemed to be saying that the path from Tremont to Hollywood could not be explained in this life, and so would have to wait for the next. And that's, what's funny is I was standing right there, so he could have asked me. But we were all on our way to the airport to catch different planes to different places. We were in a rush, and so. But I think he sensed something that is actually true, which is that anyone who achieves any modicum of success, including all of my fellow honorees tonight and anyone else in this room who has maybe achieved some of their life's dreams, is that it's not ever really just a straight path or even like a winding road, but I refer to it as a constellation. So a constellation, as you know, is a set of stars that are actually individually millions of miles apart. But when you look at them and sort of connect the dots, you can see a shape, like maybe a bear or a scorpion or an archer with a bow and arrow. And so some of the stars in the constellation that would shape really any person's eventual success in the world of TV and film might be, talent, but also hard work and discipline, genetics,
family, cultural context, key friendships, location and timing, being in the right place at the right time, fortuitous connections, luck, fate, providence, whatever word you might use for that. And yes, most of all, upbringing, background, and education. So one of the brightest stars in my constellation is my education and the hometown that I grew up in. The psychologist Lawrence Steinberg writes, "Adolescence is the time when you build the scaffolding of your adult self." And for me, that scaffolding was built right here, in this very building. I don't know if this part of the building existed yet, but the general area and the 7-mile radius surrounding where you sit tonight. You know, whenever we're releasing a new season of the show, we have to go through this marketing cycle, which involves press junkets where we sit and talk with hundreds of outlets in a single day. We were interviewed at premiere events and red carpets. I've been interviewed by the New York Times, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, Christianity Today, a lot of podcasts, radio interviews, TV talk shows, and all those journalists, no one ever asks me where I'm from. And of course there isn't time when we're in those interviews, but I would love to tell them that I grew up in a place steeped in story and storytelling. This is the only room in the universe where I don't have to explain the kind of church I grew up in, but I will anyway. I was raised in what at the time was called the Tremont Apostolic Christian Church, one of two with the same name, until it was changed to Northfield, to the great relief of visitors from out of town who would sometimes wander into not the Tremont Apostolic Christian Church they were intending to. So they might have been able to use context clues, but there were mistakes. Something that both churches shared, though, was that they rejected whole cloth, no pun intended, the consolidation of religious power in a single person. So basically, I didn't grow up with something called a pastor. I didn't know what it was, actually. I remember kind of like being confused when there's one guy? Because in my setting, instead of a single individual pastor, we were taught by lay ministers from the community who had other primary vocations, mostly farming. And week after week, they take their turn at the pulpit, teaching the stories from the Bible, using colloquial language and relatable illustrations from their own workaday lives. You know, the Bible is an agrarian document. Its imagery is of a sower going to sow, of recognizing fields ripe for harvest. It's of a prodigal feeding pigs, of vineyards, barns filled with grain, storehouses, sheep, goats, the cattle on 1,000 hills, the putting of one's hands to the plow, and of the changing of seasons. So the farmers who taught me Bible stories may not have had fancy seminary degrees or Ivy League divinity school credentials, but they and we were the better for it. They understood these old stories intuitively. They were intimately acquainted with the rhythms of the earth, with the cycles of planting, tending, and harvesting, of weather and soil, blood and sweat. They understood animal behavior and human behavior. Their calloused hands turned over delicate, ultra-thin pages of the Bible, and their voices trembled with authentic emotion. They were honest. I don't believe anyone in the congregation, correct me if you're one of them, had gone to acting school. But there was an all-around willingness in our church to perform. The idea of skits and drama in church was really taking hold in the 90s. But it wasn't just a show or for entertainment. They also believed in this thing called incarnation, which is the taking of an abstract idea and putting flesh on it, of stepping into a story and participating in it. So for example, I get the sense that many people around me and in Illinois may have grown up going to Vacation Bible School. And they may have seen some Bible teaching or some skits in their VPS. But it went a little farther in our church. They wanted to immerse us in the actual experience of Bible stories. And so we were bussed out to a Stuber property that we were told was Egypt. And Debbie Teeter and Heidi Stuber acted as safari guides who transported us across the yard, fending off a faux snake attack along the way, killing the rubber snake with a spade. And then they brought us to a canvas tent and told us the story of the Israelites in captivity as slaves. And Heidi brandished a whip, and she struck the edge of a table rhythmically as she told us about Pharaoh cracking down on the Hebrews. And then we had to take off our shoes, and we made our own bricks with straw, kneading mud in little kiddie pools that we put into wood molds and had our own take-home bricks. So they really placed us inside the story, and we incarnated it. They grooved its meaning into our very bodies. And so then when I aged out of attending PBS as a student, I volunteered as a performer in this ongoing incarnated storytelling. Specifically, the story of the paralytic whose friends lowered him through a hole in the roof to get to Jesus. So I played the paralytic. I was lying on a literal plywood plank with ropes attached to it, and I was lowered down by some older high school students from a high scaffolding outside a picnic structure in is it Timberlea? Is that what in Timberlea Park? So I was taught at an early age how to climb inside a story, an old story, get a feel for its physicality and detail, to pay close attention, and then take that experience and communicate it and bring it to life for others. And as you've just seen, that's serving me well in my career. And actually, nearly 15 years after I was lowered as the paralytic, I wrote into the scene of an episode of The Chosen that scene of the paralytic. We named him Ethan, being lowered down through the roof of Zebedee's house by his friend Tamar, who has gone on to become a beloved fan favorite in the series. I always knew from my earliest memories of knowing anything at all that I wanted to be in show business. I wanted to put on a show, make the show, write the show, movies, theater, music, all of it. It's the most consistent fact of my existence on earth, the impulse to create. And an impulse toward beauty and sharing it with others. I sometimes say that I've worked in media, arts, and entertainment for my entire career, but that's not strictly true. My very first job, the first time I rendered services and received payment, was baling hay for Jerry Sauer. He paid me in cash. And my second job was detasseling for one summer, and then my third job was as a video editor for Carol Miller's ad agency on Main Street in a little house building that I think now is home to a place called the Silver Spoon. I was 15 years old when I got that job and couldn't even drive myself to work. Now, this was 25 years ago, so it's going to be hard for any young people in the room to understand, because we have now the ability to edit videos on our phone with great ease. But I cannot emphasize how much, back in 2002, the ability to shoot and edit video was actually extremely rare and unusual. It required heavy, enormous Mac CPUs that were like the size of lug travel suitcases. And you needed software that was not intuitive. You know, they make it really easy now on your phones, but 25 years ago, it wasn't an easy thing to learn. You really needed help. And so Carol Miller had bought all these machines, and now she just needed someone to learn how to use them. And so I did. I taught myself how to edit. I did projects for her, and she graciously allowed me to borrow her fancy camera. And it recorded on these little tapes. It wasn't even like a file the way it is now. So I started making plotless little short films, first with my siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles, and then with friends and classmates, and eventually the whole church. Everything from an adaptation of the 16th century Fox's Book of Martyrs, starring basically the entire congregation of Northfield, to an experimental drama that paired the portrayal of the biblical story of Jacob side by side with an American family in the 1800s who was imploding and coming apart in ways that mirrored the biblical account, and they unfolded in parallel, side by side. And now, flash forward 20 years, I'm an executive producer on the new limited series Joseph of Egypt from Amazon MGM Studios, and a lot of the drama set in Canaan in the early parts of the series centers on the conflict between Jacob and his wife Leah in the wake of Rachel's death. So it all just comes around. And actually, Gabrielle Litweiler served as a research consultant on that project and has for all The Chosen. So we're keeping roots in Tremont as we work on this. You know, at that time, people would make sort of grandiose comments of praise, saying how amazing it was that a teen boy was making these movies at 16. But actually, the real miracle and the truly astonishing and remarkable fact was that all these adults with lives and families of their own and problems of their own and limited time, spare time, agreed to put on a period costume and spend an afternoon in Mike Enders's cow pasture watching the leaders of their church be burned at the stake. I mean, that's the real remarkable thing. In some small towns and rural areas, boys with artistic impulses are sometimes slapped back into line and told to conform. to maybe a more stoic performance of masculinity. But in Tremont, everyone yes-anded my wild ideas left and right. It was like the best place on earth for a kid with an insatiable drive to create, in possession of the barest minimum of technical resources to do so, and a cast of characters ready and willing to jump in as lay performers. And this was nowhere more true than at Tremont High School. I couldn't have really understood this at the time, but looking back, it's clear to me that the teachers at THS in the early 2000s had a way of perceiving when a student might have a kind of talent that maybe couldn't be measured on, say, an ACT test or an SAT. That they might fall outside the binary of modern education's measurement system. And they had a way of sort of detecting that and then giving it oxygen. So it could breathe outside of a one-size-fits-all syllabus. There was tremendous flexibility in those days. In the entire school, there were probably only a few of us who had any kind of access to a video camcorder or editing software. So it was, a new frontier. It was new to the teachers, new to me, but everyone was game for the ride. Freshman year, Bill Allison taught us Romeo and Juliet, and he let me film a sort of saccharine mini-documentary where I interviewed people about the difference between love, lust, and infatuation, stitched together with lots of clips from movies that illustrated the point. For our final senior year Spanish project, Mrs. Azueda let me and my classmates film an adaptation of Pocahontas with all the dialogue in Spanish, which we filmed in the woods on a cool Saturday morning with Jake Thompson, Janelle Kilgis, Tim Beidle, Mark Souter, Mary Rassi, Roland Auberly, and Hannah Bear. A lot of those are maiden names, of course. And looking back, I recognize now that we were only children ourselves, but at the time, we were seniors in high school, we thought we were adults, and I remember someone remarking, like, this is crazy, it's like we're kids playing dress-up in the woods. And we were, it's like we're playing cowboys and Indians. I think Jake was in war paint, But that childlike impulse to dress up and play make-believe lies at the heart of everyone who grows up to be a filmmaker or an actor. You have to preserve it. Many times in the course of filming The Chosen, we will be filming something in the woods at night, or maybe on the wind-bitten hills of the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. And all of our characters are dressed up in first-century Galilean costumes, and over the 8 years of making this show, all the actors have become dear friends of mine. And I often think to myself, yeah, we're just kids playing in the woods, dressing up in costumes with our friends. I did it. I got to do what I always wanted. Because I remember that cold Saturday in the woods when we were filming the Pocahontas Spanish movie. I remember thinking, this is all I want to do. And 20 years later, that is what I'm doing. Today, my work behind the camera is primarily as a writer and executive producer. I'm not the one holding the camera anymore or directing the actors. I'm the one putting words on the page and dialogue into the scripts and shaping the stories. And of course, couldn't do that without the exceptional education I received from my English teachers at THS, in particular Linda Gevinetto and Debbie Moyers. In my freshman year at college at Moody, one of the school's most renowned professors of literature, Dr. Rosalie Desrosiers, called me into her office to try to convince me to change majors. She wanted me in the communications department. I was in biblical languages. She's like, you gotta get over here. And she had graded a lot of my papers in like a, what's it called? Not gen ed, but like something that everybody takes. And she would write notes on the back, like, this is really, really good, you should be a writer. And so finally she called me into her office. And she sort of thumped one of my papers and she said, who taught you how to write like this? You go to a private school? College prep? Classical? She thought I went to Choate or like Phillips Exeter or something. And she was shocked when I told her that I learned to write this way at a public school. But none of you are. You all know the quality of the English department at THS. Mrs. Moyers, in particular, with her legendary vocab tests and her uncompromising and demanding standards for grammar and style. She truly produced a generation of capable writers. And many of you who have been to college, anyone who's been to college can tell you it's just writing papers. And she set all of us up to succeed at that. Nathan Edwards taught me how to sing, how to harmonize, and work with others to make music. Something that a lot of people don't know about my role in The Chosen is that in addition to writing and producing, I'm also in charge of all of the diegetic music in the show. So I always think the term diegetic sounds like a medical condition or a genre of medication or something. But it's, for a reminder for anyone who isn't familiar, diegetic music is any music that's happening within the scene that the characters can actually hear as opposed to artificial score. So in a movie, if you have a character maybe running through a field set to dramatic music, the character actually can't hear that. You can. It was added after the fact. As opposed to diegetic music would be maybe a bride is walking down the aisle and a quartet in the church is playing Here Comes the Bride. The characters in the scene can hear that music. And so, for whatever reason, they place me in charge of any time there is diegetic music, which is to say, for example, in season 4, there's a scene where the characters are hunkered down for the Feast of Dedication, which is Hanukkah, and they're spending time in a rented inn in Korea, and they're during Hanukkah, they're telling stories, putting on plays, giving each other gifts, playing games, having little competitions, and also singing. And so we wanted Nathaniel, Little James, and Andrew to sing a song for the others. And so my job then is to work with the composers, Matt Nelson and Dan Hasseltine, for them to compose the song. Then they give me the lyrics, the learning tracks, all of the files they need. And then I work with the 3 actors to teach the music to them. I also work with the props department to source first century looking, we don't really have any instruments from the first century, but first century looking harps, lyres, instruments that then I have to schedule lessons for them to learn how to play. And then we have to schedule rehearsals before the day of. It's all very complicated, and I wouldn't know how to do any of it without Nathan Edwards. I would not have the language or the tools or skills to know how to do that. To close, I'd like to return to Dallas's question he raised at the end of our most recent writing retreat, which was basically, how did this happen? As I've said, the path was not linear, and it was not always, or in fact ever, quite clear. And I won't bore you with the many twists and turns my journey has taken, or paths explored and then abandoned, of the doubling back and lurching sideways, bonking my head more than a few times in the dark. This isn't a TED Talk. I have no, here's the secret to success in Hollywood to offer you. I'm sorry if that's what you came looking for. But all I will say is this, that I only found my current place in film and television by continually, like a heat-seeking missile, moving toward whatever it was that excited me most within that run, which meant taking risks, failing repeatedly, and figuring things out as I went, not before I started. Pulitzer Award-winning playwright Tony Kushner writes this: "You can't live in the world without an idea of the world, but it's living that makes the ideas. You can't wait for a theory, but you have to have a theory." And what he means is that we all have to have some kind of framework or story by which we make sense of this world, make decisions, determine what matters. But the paradox is that idea can only be forged through lived experience. It's through the living that we discover and refine our idea of how to navigate this life. And a lot is made of art and life. How are they related? How are they intertwined? Which one imitates who? In this case, I believe that art imitates life, meaning a fully formed picture of what you are trying to create won't drop from the sky and give you a perfect map for how to make it happen. For instance, if you are, say, in Virginia and you have a goal to get to the Pacific Ocean, the West Coast, but you're foggy on exactly where, in California, Oregon, Washington, or what road am I going to take to get there? What you have to do, in fact, the only thing you can first and must do in Virginia is start walking west. And as you get closer, it's the journey itself that will reveal its destination to you. And mistakes along the way are guaranteed and in fact necessary. Stephen Sondheim is eloquent on this point. His character Dot sings, "I chose and my world was shaken, so what? The choice may have been mistaken, the choosing was not. You have to move on." Meaning, you can't wait until you're absolutely certain a decision is 100% correct before acting. The choice itself is how you learn and discover and grow. And this is a matter of life and death. The poet Mary Oliver writes, "The most regretful people on earth are those who felt the call to creative work, who felt their own creative power restive and uprising, and gave it neither power nor time." Proverbs teaches us, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life." You have to pay close attention to your desires. God put them in your heart for a reason. It's because you're supposed to chase them, which may mean being continually out of breath, but also fully alive. The 2nd century theologian Irenaeus said, "The The glory of God is a man fully alive. Be awake to what makes you feel the most fully alive and move toward it continuously, relentlessly. This is a holy imperative. It is also an imperative to be madly in love with this world and with existence itself, if you're to make anything that is beautiful or resonant. Earlier today, my mom was introducing me at another event here in town, and she said, from an early age, we noticed that Tyler was seeing things that others weren't seeing, and he was hearing things that others weren't hearing. Which, by the way, Mom, makes me sound crazy. Like I'm hearing voices. But she noticed that I was rapt and attentive to the world. You know, you can acknowledge that life is senselessly hard and cruel, and that the world is deeply broken, and yet still turn around and love it anyway. My parents noticed that I loved the world around me and was enraptured, caught by its beauty. But I had, in some ways, a lonely childhood in the sense that, not that I was surrounded by wonderful people, but I felt that I couldn't explain what I was seeing in the world. And I'm so grateful to God and this community for the opportunity to get my hands on a little camcorder and start capturing it and trying to show it, reflect it back to the world. I'll close with this quote. I never found anyone in my reading or in my travels and my education who was able to articulate back to me what I've just said to you about loving the world, about being captured by its beauty, about wanting to show life in all of its contradictions and God's creation, to reflect it back to people in a way that's resonant. I never found someone who could sort of distill for me why that was important, even though there's a lot of, philosophy of art, philosophy, theology of beauty, all of these things exist. But no one could put words to it until I read a novel by the Pulitzer-winning novelist Marilyn Robinson. She wrote a book called Gilead about a small town in Iowa and a Congregationalist minister who's writing a letter to his son. And I hope I can get through this without crying, but he says this about loving the world. I've been thinking about existence lately. In fact, I've been so full of admiration for existence that I have hardly been able to enjoy it properly. I feel sometimes as if I were a child who opens its eyes on the world once and sees amazing things it will never know any names for, and then has to close its eyes again. I know this is all a mere apparition compared to what awaits us, but it is only lovelier for that. There is a human beauty in it. And I can't believe that when we have all been changed and put on incorruptibility, we will forget our fantastic condition of mortality and impermanence. The great bright dream of procreating and perishing that meant the whole world to us. In eternity, this world will be Troy, I believe. And all that has passed here will be the epic of the universe, the ballad they sing in the streets. Because I don't imagine any reality putting this one in the shade entirely, and I think piety forbids me to try. Thank you again, and thank you to the Alumni Association. Congratulations to my fellow honorees. I love you all. Go Terps.
Thank you, Tyler. Before we conclude the evening, thank you all for attending. What a great night this has been. It is a good day to be a Turk, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to the Tremont First National Bank, the Tremont Community Bank, and Eli's for their sponsorship and support of this event. The school has been an amazing partner. Thank you, Mr. Berry, Mr. Hilrich, Mr. Edwards, Ms. Eve, Mr. Schmidt, and so many other District 702 staff members for your assistance putting this on. The committee, I'm going to ask them to all stand if they would. We'll recognize them all then together at the end. Jan Gibson, 1984, our fearless leader. Bev Schweigert Freehill, 1977. Joyce Cook Matson, 1963. Conley Stoffer Bird, 1964. Martha Jane Freeman Hillman, 1963. Jack Mosier, 1956. And James Leonard, 1977. Right now, the plan is to do something like this every 5 years, but we're open for any suggestions that you might have. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any ideas. One final congratulations to all the alumni recipients. This concludes the evening. We thank you for attending and making the event so special. If you're able to stick around and assist in putting away chairs, great. Otherwise, the basket in the back for donations. We'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.